Welcome to Beans, Brews and Bread today. Today is the first video of the hop growing content. This is a collaboration between the beans or vegetable element of the channel and the brew element of the channel. This is where you'll hopefully get some top tips and hints on how to grow your own hops for just fun or supplying to any community hop growing projects that you've got, growing it for yourself to brew your own green hop beers. So come along today and we'll show you what a hop rhizome looks like. So a bit more information about hops in general. They're the same family as hemp and, believe it or not, marijuana. You'd be surprised how similar the plants and the leaves do look to those other varieties in the same family. Hops didn't arrive in the UK until sort of the 15th or 16th centuries. I think from sort of the Low Countries, Holland, Belgium, that kind of area. Before that, beer in England was really known as ale. Beer is the distinction between a malted alcoholic drink that's fermented with yeast that's brewed with hops is beer, and the equivalent drink that is brewed without hops, so other kind of bittering herbs, spices, and other ingredients to try and improve the keeping qualities of the drink, is known as ale. So it was relatively recent plant to the UK. It's grown from a rhizome, and that's basically a rather gnarly wooden base element of the plant, and the roots really do go deep. I removed some from the plot last year simply to try and get more vegetable growing space, and they were really tough to get out. So just bear in mind that once they're in the perennial plant. They will grow for the year by sending up bines, which are climbing shoot tendrils that will come up from the plant. You've got to train up to support them so that they can then produce the flower cones, which are the hop cones, which produce the lupulin, which is the compound in the flower cone which creates the bitterness, aroma and flavour for beer. So you just have to have a bit of an idea now to how to look after this once it's been purchased, just to keep how to keep the hop hydrated before planting out into its final position. They can be grown in containers, they can be grown in open ground or in your own home. You just have to have the right support structure to be able to support, as I say, the bines once they grow and for the hop cones to develop. But we'll look at getting the hop plant protected and looked after it's been purchased, so that you stand the best chance of success in planting out after you've purchased the hop rhizome. So for those who want to support the channel, I do have a Patreon page which I've set up, support for the channel to help produce the content, and also as a way of trying to promote the hop growing content that I really want to try and get into gear for this year. So putting this video out for everyone to have a look, so we can give you a bit of a shout out to get some hop rhizomes purchased. You can get them in the post, you can get them home, you can get them potted on so that we can get them planted out into the final position. And I'll be posting regular updates on the Patreon page for those people who do want to subscribe to the channel in that way. So have a look now. So the best time to plant hops is late winter, early spring, really before they start getting breaking their dormancy period. Now, hops are very resilient and they are propagated mostly by taking rhizomes from established plants which have been grown by commercial producers. But I'll provide a link below to a company which I've used before, Essentially Hops, and they provide and still have got quite a lot of stock, particularly in the UK, for hops that you can still buy now for planting just before spring starts. What you'll need to have a look is, depending on where you are in the rest of the world, try and find a local supplier who's providing hop rhizomes of named varieties for you to pick and plant this spring. So I'm going to be growing Fuggles. I've been kindly supplied a set of rhizomes from a friend, Dave Ogden, and he's given me these. So we'll show you these today. These are probably best, that's the best example there, are quite a woody rhizome, which is most of the sort of root here on the plant. And you can probably just see here is this is the shoots which will eventually grow up and grow into the bines, which will provide support for to get the hop cones later on in the season. But at the moment, this is more or less what you'll get supplied through the post by the hop supplier. And what they'll do is they'll probably surround it in something like moss or sphagnum moss or peat or something of an equivalent as environmentally sustainable as possible, hopefully, that they'll put through the post. And the idea is you need to get these planted and not dried out as little as possible before planting. Otherwise, these rather delicate shoots where the bines will come from later on in the season will die and you'll lose your plant. Next video will be showing you how to plant these, but this is sort of the care tips once the rhizome stock has arrived, is to get them out of the packaging, get them hydrated if they're looking a bit dry, so put them in a jar or a bucket of water, try and get them rehydrated for a short period. Then you can do it as simple as literally as simple as taking any simple pot, take it, simply put it in the pot. So it's as simple as taking it and putting it in the pot. You get a rough idea as to where the shoots are. You really want to plant it to just below where most of those new shoots are coming from. So really about that depth. You want to get a little bit more put around it just to give it a bit more support and some food as well. Now, don't expect loads of roots to come out from this at this stage. This is really just a pre-planting stage just to protect the rhizomes after they've been posted out to you and before you can get them planted out to the final position. You just want to get it buried up to about that depth. Firm it in a little and give it a watering. Don't let it stand in water, and really try and keep it somewhere cool and frost free if possible. Don't need to keep it in the house, but that will be a great way to start off your purchased hop rhizomes before planting just before spring. I'd be really grateful if you'd consider subscribing via Patreon. It really does help support the channel. It helps with the raw materials, it helps with the sort of the electronics and the production side of things as well, and help grow the sort of Beans Brew and Bread community a little bit more as well. So thanks ever so much. I'd be very grateful if you'd consider subscribing in that way and helping support the channel. And the next video will be getting the purchase hops into their final position. I'm going to provide some hints on container growing hops and also out in more established ground, actually in the ground at home or in your own allotment plot. And also some hints and tips about support structures. And this is all the kind of thing that we'll be doing regular updates on Patreon so that the subscribers can see what's coming up and what to get planned and how to take care of it as we go through the year. And there's your hop rhizome potted on, just nicely kept protected and ready for planting out. So plenty of time for the next video for you to think about getting a hop variety and a hop rhizome purchased. If you do, I'd love to hear what you've got on order in terms of variety. I suggest something that's a bit multi-purpose, like I say, Fuggles, or a German noble variety, or a Czech variety. You don't have to be into home brewing particularly at the moment, because these are things that you can work along with the channel as we go through the year. But the aim will obviously be to get some of your first harvest of hops into a green hop beer. A really simple recipe for those people that are only starting out this year. If if you do homebrew already and you've got plenty of kit and all the rest of it, I'd love to hear from you as well. Thanks ever so much for watching today. We're really grateful if you'd give the video a thumbs up. If you'd like to be notified the next time there's a video on any aspect of the channel, then you can subscribe on YouTube. Press the bell icon. That will hopefully notify you when the next time a video goes up. And for those of you that do want to join me on Patreon, I'm ever so thankful for you joining me on there. I'll post some updates on there as well. So thanks ever so much. We'll see you next time. Cheers. Bye.